Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I'm really grateful and I'm really happy. Many of you have appreciated my efforts. This shows that actually you have understood whatever I have given you. Thank you very much. Friends, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel so that you have got the benefits of all the lectures available in economics as well as in law. So, today we are going to start with chapter 3 of economics, which is industrial development in India since 1991. First, let me again introduce whatever you have done in 12th standard. Industrial revolution took place in 19th century, and this industrial revolution led to large scale production and use of machineries, which divided the traditional and modern industries. Now, industrial revolution means what? Changes in the methods, process, and practices of production is known as industrialization. See, in traditional industries, more workers were applied for the production. It was labor intensive. But after industrial revolution, there was a big change. Production was based on factory, that is factory based production. So ownership of capital was diverse from ownership of labor and subsequently from enterprise. It was more capital intensive. Now, as it was more capital intensive, more and more machines were used. But there was a division of labor and specialization as the production was carried on large scale or mass scale. Expansion of markets was possible due to infrastructure facilities. See, again, there is a vicious circle, friends. Due to infrastructure facilities, market expanded, demand expanded, therefore large scale production, therefore, specialization, division of labor, and that is capital intensive factory based production. So, this is the order of industrialization after 19th century. Now, what the role is played by industrialization in economic development? Because we have already said many times that when a country is an emerging country or a developing country, it depends more on industries and less on agriculture. So we go through the role of industrialization here. As I have already told you, I am using Nirali Prakashan books, friends, but I have changed the order of the numbers which is given in the book so it becomes convenient for you to remember. So first is increasing employment opportunities. India is a highly populated country and unemployment problem was a very big problem which we were facing. So it was very necessary to provide employment to the laborers. Secondly, due to law of diminishing returns which operated on agriculture, the labor was without work. And industries gave them the opportunity to work. So it increases the employment opportunities by starting small scale, large scale industries. Now, as we know, just now we said increasing employment opportunities. So second has to be development of agriculture and other primary producing sectors. The development of agriculture and other primary, see, the words which are using, that means the industries which are based on agriculture, like dairy product, poultry. Now, for cotton, sugarcane, tobacco, and other agriculture products, the demand was increased. Secondly, industrialization expands the markets for all agricultural products. So the people who are engaged in agriculture sector increased their income, and definitely which result in increasing standard of living. Now the increased demand for agriculture product and other industry makes rationalization and modernization of these industries. Now, what do you mean by modernization is a development? So in this way, industrialization indirectly helps development of agriculture also. Now we take first was increasing employment opportunities, second was development of agriculture and other producing, third is increase in income and better standard of living. See, we are just going through a chain. Simple chain I have made. It is possible to bring what? Rapid increase in the national income, which increase the standard of living of a people. Now, why? Always remember, when there is increase in income, the people will definitely go for higher standard of living. Now, there were other countries also, like oil producing countries, they had a prosperity and high standard of living, which is an exception, but dear, always remember, the natural supply of oil and other resources is likely to be exhausted sooner or later, but this will not be case with the industrialization. Industrialization will grow slowly and will cover many sectors. Because industrialization does not depend on natural resources. It depends on human efforts. The increase in production will lead to what? Increase in income. Increase in income means increase in wealth, which will bring technical progress. As you have wealth, definitely you will go for the technical progress. And in the case of agriculture, all human labor may go waste if nature does not cooperate. If there is no rain, proper rain, then definitely agriculture suffers, but industrialization never suffers because it depends on human efforts. Therefore, industrialization leads to improvement in standard of living as they apply more and more modern techniques of production. Not only that, they carry out innovations and inventions. So, they can change the quality according to the demand. In this way, the income goes on increasing and it definitely is reflected in standard of living. Fourth is satisfaction of additional demand. Now, first, when you have money or income, internal demand for primary products continues to increase. That is, food products, demand for it also increases. But once that level is reached, expansion is impossible. So agriculture product may be of a good quality and quantity also, but the demand for it will have a satiety level. I hope you understand, right? But the demand for comforts and luxuries goes on increasing once the basic necessities are satisfied. Now, that is necessary to increase industrial output in the country. It also increases the exports. The demand for primary product is inelastic because food, how much you will have intake. So it is not likely to increase. Some products can be exported, but not all. So, industrialization increases the demand for comforts and luxuries. And we have seen in the last chapter also that the export of technological items like radio, TV, etc., has increased. Fifth is the diversification of production. See, every economy has to face several economic, natural or man-made calamities. And it is very difficult to face such calamities because natural calamities, we never know when it comes. It is an unexpected thing. So if the production in the economy is diversified, then it becomes easy to face such calamities. And this is possible due to globalization. Friends, globalization has given rise to many opportunities, but leads to diversification. Now, when there is a diversification, definitely, if you have a blow in one particular sector, you can make up with the production increase in other sector. Now, for raising level of competitiveness, it has become necessary to find out new avenues of industrialization, new avenues, new sectors of industrialization. Now, next, which we will take is the strength and stability of the economy. See, once there is a diversification of production, just now we said it is easy for us to face human made or natural calamities. So we go for the strength and stability of the economy. Industrialization strengthens the economy in more than one way. How? First, always understand, we said just now, that innovations and inventions are taking place due to industrialization. So they undertake research and it makes possible and profitable for us. So we increase the infrastructure facilities and this has made us a developing economy. The industrialization makes the economy more balanced and ends lopsided development. Third, industrialization makes it possible to supply the raw material required by the transport and communication and other sectors of the economy and also provides demand for the product. Because strength and stability of the economy depends on secondary and tertiary sector. Always remember, and industrialization gives boost to infrastructure facilities. Now, next, which we are going to see is after the strength and stability is increase in international trade. See, first we stabilize our economy, then we go for the increase in international trade. Always remember, increase in international trade is beneficial to all countries because that makes your balance of payment favorable. More of exports and less of imports. How this is possible? This is possible because we have new techniques of production. When there is a new techniques of production, the quality of the production increases. The variety of production also increases. People who are engaged in agriculture production produces only goods which can be exported and import manufactured product. Export agriculture product and import manufactured product. But that is always understand will give you unfavorable balance of payment. So only we can achieve more export, that is increase in exports and decrease in imports by industrialization. Now 8, we'll see the 8th characteristic, friends. And the 8 is the sovereignty of the nation. See, once you're stable in home, once your international trade is also favorable, definitely the next will be the sovereignty of the nation. In order to maintain the sovereignty of the nations, it is necessary to produce all requirements of arms and ammunitions, defense, everything in the country. It is possible to import this, but it is dangerous to depend on other countries for such things because it is a very sensitive things. It is the defense material which is in sensitive things. So imports of weapons entirely depend on international relations and conditions. So it depends if the relations goes maybe in a very bad phase, then we have to suffer. And we can't afford to suffer for defense. So even for maintaining the sovereignty of the country, it is necessary to industrialize. Ninth will be welfare function of the state. Once we are having stability, once we are having favorable balance of payment, we are not worried much, then we go for the welfare function of the state. The ability or capacity of the industries to create surplus is large because it is a large scale production, therefore there is an excess production. So industrial section is always better organized. Agriculture is little bit unorganized, but industrial sector is always organized. So it becomes easy for the government to tax industries and collect the taxes. Once the taxes is collected, definitely they can be used by government for the welfare activities. And the last will be social change. Always remember, industrialization has made a great change in our society because our attitude changes. See, everybody must adhere to a time schedule. People must work together and cooperate with each other. When they are working in an industry, they have to be alert. They have to keep their knowledge abreast, technical knowledge, of course. So there is a social change. The people in industrial society are normally more alert, competitive, well informed, eager to change with time, and are very dynamic. See, the traditional societies are dominated by the pre capitalistic values. Now, these pre capitalistic values are now old beliefs, and social structure has also become an old. Industrialization made a great change. The force of industrialization removed distinction based upon caste, creed, language, religion. See, in our industry, many people are working together, maybe Hindu, Muslims, or whatever caste, creed, anything. But they work together, and that is a very big thing which we have achieved. So, friends, we finished all the characteristic or the role which is played by the industrialization. Now, we'll go and see what is small scale industries. We see industries are of three types: small scale, medium scale, and large scale. So, now let us go and find what is a small scale industries. In every day, when we use this word, we use that village cottage industries, everything is small scale. No, friends, it is wrong. Because small scale industries, according to 1995 Act, the government defined it, those employing 50 workers with power and without power 100 workers. But latest we have seen, which is in 1997, the investment limit was raised to 3 crores for small scale industries and 20 lakhs for tiny sector. With effect of 2nd October 2006, you are supposed to write this. This is the latest change which is made, friends. Micro and tiny enterprise would cover all enterprises with investment in plant and machinery of less than 25 lakhs. Less than 25 lakhs. Small enterprises will be between 25 lakhs to 5 crores and medium will be from 5 to 10 crores. So in this way they have given us the format of small, tiny, small and medium industries. Now there are some characteristic of cottage industries. You see, the cottage industry is one which normally operated on a small, and a cottage house. Means in home when you do something, it is known as a cottage industries. Now these are financed and owned by capital of the entrepreneurs, like to make pickles, achar, papad, and all that. The risk is borne by the owner. Most of the labor is supplied with the members of the family. All members work together. The machinery used is very simple because capital investment we saw it is very small. So they can't afford the machines. The small scale industries are organized on modern basis and use modern machinery. Now, it may function in cities also and in villages also. Cottage industries can be classified on the basis of competition faced, its intensity, and secondly, on the basis of employment provided by these industries. So, in two ways, the small scale industries are classified. First is on the basis of competition. Okay, on the basis of competition, see, it is survived of the peculiar development policy. Why? Because of the government policies. It has survived. For example, khadi and handloom industries. Now, these industries which have survived in spite of the competition of the large scale is due to their personal skill. For example, carpenter, blacksmith, they have their own skills and therefore they are surviving. Next is the industries which can successfully compete, which is based on agriculture, like rice milling or oil processing, etc. The industries which have no competitions because of the professions like repairing cycles, radios, tailoring, etc. So those small scale industries are having competition, they are survived because of these factors. Now we see classification on the basis of providing employment. Part-time village industries examples handlooms, beadi making, rope making, etc. Definitely they provide employment. Full-time village industries like blacksmith, carpentry, dyeing, etc. Full time or part time. First we say part time, then we say full time, then we say full time or part time, which is carried on cities. Till now we say it was village. Now we come to cities. That is like carving on wood or ivory, ornaments making, jewelry making. Full time city professions are hosiery, engineering workshop, etc. Seasonal city vocations are brick manufacturing, umbrella manufacturing. When the rainy season is going to be very soon, we start manufacturing of umbrellas. Seasonal village industries like rice pounding, manufacturing of jaggery and kansari. Friends, this we said of the small scale industries. But we said just now that small scale industries is possible in urban as well as in the rural areas. So we classify this first part-time small-scale urban industries, that is like tailoring or manufacturing of metalware, etc. Full-time small-scale urban industries like printing press or repairing workshops. Third will be part-time small-scale rural industries like rural, we say. And we have seen just now rural means rice mills or oil mills, etc. Full-time small-scale rural industries include repairing workshops, etc. Now we go for the role or place of small-scale and cottage industries in Indian economy. First, we saw what are the role of industrialization. Now we see is what is the role of small-scale and cottage industries in Indian economy. First, always remember first point has to be contribution to national income, right? So here also first point will be contribution to national income. It contributes a very large share of national income in India. Here you have to give little of the statistics. So they have made a substantial progress. There is a great potentiality for the development of these industries in India. They are contributing to GDP, that is 37.5%, which has a critical role in boosting industrial growth and ensuring the success of Make in India program. As you know, very much Narendra Modi has enforced Make in India program. When the income increases, employment potentiality also increases. So, as we know, small scale and cottage industries are labor intensive. When the labor is in excess in countries like India, if we apply labor intensive techniques, the unemployment can be cured. Now, as this unemployment, which is the biggest problem which we are facing, can be cured. Secondly, there is a scarcity of capital in country like India. So, labor intensive techniques of production through small scale and cottage industries is always welcomed. Now, always remember that it is essential to start small scale industries in large numbers because we want to solve the problems of unemployment in rural areas. Third is low capital input. Just now we say low capital input and cost of production. Capital required will be very less because it is observing labor intensive techniques of production. So it will be welcome because we don't need capital more, and there is always a scarcity of capital with the people residing in rural areas. So it will stabilize the industrial base in India, bearing the basic and essential industries. As we've seen already, how many the per worker requirement of capital in large scale industry varies between 3 to 4 lakhs. But in cottage industries, it will be just 25,000 to 30,000. In this way, the cost of production also goes down. Skill required. See, for big firms, we require skill. But here in small scale and cottage industries, skill required is not of a very higher level. The capital at stake is always, we know, very less. But in large scale industries, the capital requirement is big, the skill required is big, the technical knowledge and skill is inherited by parents for small scale and cottage industries. Or, it is sometimes traditional that a person who is a blacksmith, definitely his child will become a good blacksmith. Fifth is marginal dependence on imports. Always remember that we always see that there should be a minimum dependence on imports. Now, large scale industries have to depend on imports of machinery or technical knowledge, etc. But for the small scale industries, the need is always fulfilled locally, and these industries may even help the exports and earn the foreign exchange. You have to here compare always, friends, the large scale industries and the small scale. Sixth is decentralization nature and quick results. See, in large scale industries, what is happening is there is a long gestation period. There is a time gap between the beginning of the investment and getting returns of it is known as a gestation period. If you write such words, you will get good marks. But in small scale industries, the gestation period is very less, and therefore they get a quick reward. The production is made, it is sold, and they get the money. So it is possible to have all advantages of decentralization and equilibrium of production is also maintained. Next is social justice. Large scale industry is always factory based. Factory based means what? Wealth and economic power is concentrated in the hands of capitalistic people. But for small scale industries, socialistic pattern is observed because the people are decentralized. There is no concentration of power and capital. Next is complementary to large scale industries. Large scale industries are always in need of innumerable small components and subsidiaries. So they have to depend on small scale industries. See, very simple example we give is nuts and bolts which are provided by small scale industries to the big industries. Ninth is large source of supply of consumer goods. The small scale industries are more suited to produce consumer goods on a large scale. Small scale industry is small and so is the market. It is possible for them to cater the needs of the local, consumers in a better way, which are locally there, because they know what they need and they satisfy their needs. The government of India started paying more attention to small scale industries as they have large export potential also. You might be aware, if you see the TV, that many craftsmen, the craftsmen which are observing the old techniques of production, are encouraged because they can be exported. Next is overall performance. Overall performance of small scale industries have continuously remained remarkable during the 90s. Now also income is very high, but the rate of growth has always remained in the range of 13 to 14 percentage, which has recorded significantly high annual growth rate. Now we saw just now what is the role it is playing. Now we'll see problems which a small scale enterprises in India is facing. Sorry friends. Now definitely for small scale, first any industries when you start will be the finance. The first is inadequacy of finance. A serious problem which we are facing for small scale industries is the credit facilities for long term or for both the short term. Now, actually, when we say that there is no credit facility available to them, next will be what? If they have the credit facility, if they make the production, then again there is a less infrastructure facilities. Less infrastructure facilities always hampers the growth of small scale industries in India. Now, the credit situations for the tiny units, if we see, we are not talking about small scale, we are going also for the tiny units. The system of finance comprising of financial institutions or banks or cooperative banks in tune with their very small and specific requirement. So there is a quite significant proportion of this unit is dependent upon high cost credit of private money lenders. So again they have to depend on whom? The private money lenders. Second is difficulties of marketing. Now when the production is done at a low scale. It is not a large scale production. Next, what they don't have is the market intelligence. Competition from technically or more efficient units, insufficient holding capacity. Suppose there is an overproduction, they can't hold it. They can't wait till the price rises. So, in spite of certain measures we have taken, the government has taken a lots of measures for this, but then also they are facing the result is that large and increasing subsidies tend to impose a heavy burden on the government budgets. What government tried is to give them the subsidies, but actually this is a load for the government. Third is shortages of raw materials. We always know that there is a shortages of raw materials, not of a requisite quality. Quality is also not good, quantity is not available, and last will be not at a reasonable rate. All these three things affects the production to small scale industry. Now government's efforts like the supply of raw materials through state small industries development corporations, import quotas, have not yielded much, because it gets more and more residuary treatment in raw material distribution. They are not giving importance. Next is low level of technology. As we know that low productive level, it is at a low scale. It's not large scale. Inferior product quality and high cost. See, all these things affects their production as well as their cost of production, and then the price level also. Now, this shows what? This shows that there is a real need for research and development in the field of small scale and tiny sector industries. They should have the technological knowledge, as well as they should be provided a capital at the right time. Friends, this was for small scale industries. Now we go for medium and large scale enterprise in India. I'm sure we are going in a nice way and you all are understanding it, right? Okay, friends. Now we go for medium and large scale enterprise in India. Some medium and large scale enterprise in India, first is always foremost is cotton textile industries, which is very oldest and most firmly established major industries and organized industries. There are 1100 mills in country. If you see, you have learned this in your history, I don't know, in 8 9 somewhere, that as the cotton was produced at home, cottage industries were developed. Second is the jute industry. Jute industry was started in 1885. Now, initially it was, like very passive. For many years, it was very passive, but then slowly and slowly, it has gradual improvement in production of jute textiles due to better capacity utilization and improved power supply situation. Third will be obviously iron and steel industries. It came into existence in 1870 when the Bengal Iron Works Company, a forerunner of ISCO, set up the plant at Kulti in West Bengal. The first large scale unit was TISCO, which was set up at Jamshedpur. You all know this in 1907, right? Then Bhilai, Durgapur, and Rourkela. Now, during the third plan, public sector was set up at Bokaro. Then many units were formed by government because we come to know that iron and steel industry is important for industrialization. Every part which we use for industries, for the machines, are made by steel and iron industries. The fourth will be the sugar industry. Now, India was fourth major producing. Please don't forget this in the world with 22% share of the world's sugar production. And it is the second largest agro-based industry India in the country. You know that large scale production of sugar is possible because we have enough sugar cane production in our country. So friends, don't forget to write it is the fourth major producing country of the world. 22% share of the world sugar production is made in India. The next is the cement industry. See, we are going so nicely. If you just see cotton industries, then jute industries, then iron and steel, and then sugar, and then comes the cement. The cement industry has recorded continuous growth since planning period because it is well diversified over all states of India. See, it is not concentrated in certain areas. It is diversified and it has a tremendous potential for development as limestone of excellent quality is found throughout India. Next is paper industry. So here what you are not supposed to forget is limestone which is available throughout India. The next is paper industry. Paper is very vital and core industry for any country because without paper you can't do anything. It is important for industrial, cultural, and educational activities. At present, the country is self sufficient in the paper industry because we have enough of forest which give us the wood which is important for us to make papers. This was the industries, medium and large scale. Now we see the role of medium and large scale industries in India. Always, as I said, first has to be increase in national income. You see, I'm giving you the hints how to remember also. Always write the first point is increase in national income. So industrial productivity increases the national income. Along with the agriculture sector, industrial sector contributes to national income, which is a sign of development. When both the sectors are running properly, then the development can be achieved. In the developed countries, we have seen that industrial production is maximum, or contribution of industrial production is maximum. Once the national income is increased, definitely it increases employment opportunities. Now, how? We know just now 60% of the Indian population depend upon the agriculture sector. When medium and large scale industries are set up, migrant labor are also absorbed. Those labor which migrated from rural as they never had enough employment opportunities are absorbed. It was the biggest problem India was facing. Third, as employment increases, definitely what will increase? Per capita income. So the third point will be per capita income increases. Because medium and large scale provides employment opportunities which increases their income, which increases the per capita income. When the per capita is increased, what will be the next thing is raising the standard of living. As a per capita income is high, they can maintain the higher standard of living. All these things will go to what? First, better distribution of national wealth. Always remember, we see that we have got throughout the country all the natural resources which are necessary for industries, or which makes the input for industries. So by setting up industry, especially even in the backward regions, when we are setting up industries in backward regions, we are having an employment opportunities given to the laborers who are residing there. In this way, their income increases, and that is the distribution of national wealth, which is better. We try to minimize the inequality of wealth distribution. Next will be infrastructure development. See, when there is a medium or large scale industries, production is also made on large scale, so we need infrastructure facilities. So infrastructure facilities are developed. Next is technological development. As we know that medium and large scale is a capital intensive also. So more and more technology has to be applied. Latest technology has to be applied. If a nation is known for the backward according to its level of existing technology, we must understand what is the importance of technology. Industrialization gives boost to technological development. Next is which makes the what? Strong industrial base. See, you have got technological development, you have got infrastructure facilities. So establishing medium and large scale industries in the country provides a strong base, because we are providing heavy industries in the public as well as private sector, which has its effect. The next will be encourages foreign trade. Always I say last has to be international trade or foreign trade, because for every country, international trade is very important after globalization. Now, setting up a many type of industry helps in producing what? Commodities which can be sold in international market. So we can export it, and our this will make our balance of payment favorable. Our foreign reserves can increase. So friends, this was a role played by medium and large scale industries. Now we see the problems which are faced by large scale industries in India. We are talking about India, as you know, right? So now we take first, always for large scale industries, what is important? Can you tell me what is important for us? So first thing is modernization, because industrialization itself related to modernization. Most of the units which are very old, in India at present, facing the problem of modernization. The machinery in two-thirds of the textile units in Bombay is older than 25 years, if not more. Same with the jute industries. So, what is required is modernization, which requires a large investment. But the people in India are not very keen on large scale investment. So, due to lack of modernization, the cost of production is high and industry becomes less competitive. Now, second will be what is the thing which is hampering it? The problems of supply of raw material. Always remember, without raw material, you cannot make the production. And when the production is carried on large scale, if there is a scarcity or paucity of raw materials, then it yields to what? It gives you low yield. Cost of production increases, price increases, and if you don't want to increase the price, then you have to purchase the raw material at a higher prices, maybe of a good quality or maybe of poor quality. So in this way, raw material, of course, when is less, we have to import it, and this makes the problems very complicated. Now next is inefficient industrial units. What do you mean by inefficient? Now in India, when we see it is inefficient, it means that management is inefficient. And West is mostly seen in the engineering industries in India. These new units are getting protection from the government's policy of prohibiting imports of goods which can be manufactured here in India. This enables them to earn large profits but results in large scale wastage of scarce resources. And as we know, whenever there is more wastage, it shows your inefficiency. Next will be underutilization of capacity. Now, large scale industries requires what? Large capital investment. So, productive capacity is more, but it has to be fully utilized. If you can't utilize it, if you can't make the optimum utilization of resources, then can we have the benefits? No, we can't have the benefits. But in India, it is underutilized because of the various factors. Various factors like capital inefficiency, non-availability of raw materials, just now we saw, and which definitely leads to underutilization of the capacity of an industry. So planned efforts are needed to overcome these difficulties. Now, fifth is technical know-how. When we talk about large-scale industries, we know that it has to be capital intensive with more machinery, that is more technical know-how. Now, many of the industries which are based on modern technology has to depend on foreign technicians and experts because we are not having so many technicians or the people having this technical knowledge. You might not be aware, but in Bokaro and Bilai steel plants were erected and commissioned with the help of Russian experts. Durgapur plant with the help of British experts and Rourkela with West German experts. Definitely, it is a very big problem which we are facing. Next is multilateral market competition. See, competition makes industry increase and maintain their efficiency because if you want to be in competition, if you want to survive, you have to make the things which is of a best quality and therefore they have to run with efficiency. But at times, sometimes it creates problem also. Some of the industries like cotton, jute or sugar, they find it very difficult to stand in the competition with the foreign industries because our production is low grade. We are getting raw materials at a costly, which we have to pay a more money. So absence of rationalization is responsible for increasing the cost of production. So it becomes very difficult for the Indian producers to compete with foreign manufacturers. Next thing, as we know, new substitutes and innovations affects very badly some of the Indian industries. You might be knowing that instead of jute, first we used to use the jute bags. Now we are using polythene or plastic bags. In this way, the substitute also is a very big problem for us. And the last is gap in the production. Already we have seen that there is a gap in the production. What do you mean by the gap in the production? There is a gestation period which is very long. Then as the gestation period is long, there is a little bit problem with the planning. Estimates of expenditure going wrong due to rise in prices, lack of coordination amongst various departments of the government, delay or mistakes in rating import license, and all these results of the non-achievement of the target. Now we see the evolution of industrial policy and recent changes. A policy which was observed in 1991